We're recording.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Oh, welcome everyone to this meeting of the Harpenden Town Council Planning Committee held on Tuesday, the 31st of January. Straight into apologies for absence. I think everyone's
No,
here.
it was here.
Lovely. Any declarations of interest from councillors? No, as ever, if you spot one during the meeting, do just yell at me and we will take it at the appropriate moment. Minutes of the meeting of the planning committee held on the 10th of January 2023. We have to take those to the true record. All in favour? Lovely.
It's fine. Not too many pages.
About 3 pages from
Yeah.
memory.
That's interesting, isn't it?
We read the date at the start of the meeting. Didn't you forget what it is?
That's the last day of January.
Oh, I know, that's
I
depressing.
believe it's open tomorrow. It was like when he just got back after Christmas.
I got very confused on Friday, wondered why I'd got an agenda. Planning meetings, I thought, well, it's not for another week. And then I thought, oh, gosh, it is.
Yeah, it came around quick, didn't it? I only
It did
noticed
come
in my
very
diary
quickly.
it's 10 to 7 this evening. I thought, oh,
Oh, no. Oh dear, that was a horrible shock.
Doing a horrible shock. It's the highlight of Paul's
And
week.
10 to 7 though, going
Yeah,
around the
exactly.
meeting's in 40 minutes.
What a pleasant surprise. You know, you sat there thinking I've got nothing to do, and then I'm planning everything. I have nothing to report, and I'm not aware of any urgent items.
No, we have, no,
Lovely. Any public questions?
no, none have been received.
One day we'll have a public question. Any letters of objection?
No, none have been received.
Applications registered week ending 6th of January, the 13th of January, and the 20th of January. Starting with, get my pages to turn. 5/2022/2784 is not in our area, so on to 5/2022/302007 Kingsbourne Close. Your observations.
Right, so we're there. Okay, so properties in this section of the street follow a distinct pattern of a detached property linked to a property by a setback garage to the side. This proposal looks to demolish the side garage, replacing with a ground floor extension to the side along the length of the property, but not extending rearwards as far as the footprint of the demolished garage. A 1 metre gap down the boundary is provided. A small extension to the boundary on the opposite side is also proposed to provide a WC, where the boundary to this side borders a public footpath alleyway. The front door is proposed to be relocated to be front facing as opposed to side accessed. At first floor level, it is proposed to extend partially over the proposed ground floor extension to enlarge the family bathroom, master bedroom, and to provide an ensuite. No additional bedrooms are proposed. 3 off-street parking spaces are proposed to the frontage. Number 3, Kingsbourne Close is also extended to the side in a similar way. So I've said consider no objections, subject to no loss of amenity to the neighbouring property. Number 5, Kingsbourne Close. Policy ESD2 of the Harpenden Neighbourhood Plan and Policy 72 of the District Plan Affairs. So there you can see the proposed extensions. I think the hatched area is the 2-storey and the sort of grey scale is the 1-storey.
You cover it.
Do you
Councillor.
want to see the drawings?
Yes, please.
I was going to say, I don't have a problem with it, but I would, as next door but one have done something similar, is it possible to have a look?
Yes, of course. It's basically one drawing.
This is it.
Is it?
My question was on mostly on the parking spaces, the 2 of those coupled if you overlap.
But that's still acceptable, I think, for
No, that's when the 2 cars are touching,
oh, right.
but I suspect that's scale rather than
So,
You'd hope so. Otherwise, they're parking in each other's.
It's
Right, so what's this number 3?
three. Yeah, 3 Kingsbourne closes extended in a similar way.
It's, oh, sorry, I've just gone a tiny bit too far. It's this house here.
You're,
We never see it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Second, oh. Sorry, I can see it. Yeah,
It helps, so.
I'm so sorry. Right, try again. Flipped.
And the plan is there. It was circulating. Yes.
Right, my apologies. So it's this one here, extended in a very similar way. So we've demolished the garage and
Hopefully entrance. But yeah.
I don't think it's exactly the same, but it's just in the principle of building to the side.
Mhm.
it may be the angle, but it's close to creating a terracing effect, isn't it?
I was thinking that.
Is that one house that was at the end?
No,
No,
it's
it's
two. I think
it's
they've
subdivided.
built, yeah. I
A
think
lot
they've
of people have
built-
changed them.
Yeah.
That is the terracing effect. It's better I've seen one.
Oh, quite.
It is now terrace.
And I had no problems with this on the basis of what's been.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what's there already. I don't think there's anything restricted.
I think there is a metre gap down the boundary, actually. So at the moment, they are linked, whereas the demolition of the garage creates the access down the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of losing the uniformity, the damage has already been done.
It's already been done. Yes,
If it was the first one, you might be
it
tempted.
might be tempted, but no, it's,
Dominoes are already falling.
yes.
All in favour of the recommendation?
That's agreed.
Well, there's no great intrinsic architectural value for these properties in any event, is there, to be honest?
Councillor Conlon, could you pass me the drawing? Thank
So
you.
that's all. I don't vote you.
No. I think they've only been in, the ones that have been altered.
I wouldn't disagree. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's because they're very
Mm.
sort of flat, aren't they?
The boxes, yeah.
They're also more in keeping in terms of material for the ones to the right of that one. Because of the fact they've got lighter bricks. The two on the end.
Hmm.
Sorry, I wasn't very clear then.
Want me to continue or
I just,
make the councillor Butterworth do the thing?
Yep. So curiosity.
5/2022/3024 at 120 Crapples present. Your observations on this one? I think you're screen sharing.
Yeah, it's fine. I need to just change the
That's fine. I
view to the,
just thought I'd be proactive with.
no, that's absolutely fine. Thank you for drawing my attention. So, 128 Covers Road, the applicant is looking to do an infill extension at the ground floor to the rear, might just move to that one to see. To the rear in line with the existing side projection to expand existing ground floor accommodation. It's also proposed at first floor level to create an additional bedroom with 4 in total over the existing ground floor element, which projects the same distance as the existing first floor accommodation. Property already has a loft room, which remains unchanged. The proposed extensions appear to be in keeping with the host dwelling and the surrounding area. The property has 1 off-street parking space, which is rare this road. Most residents only have on-street parking, which is part of a permit-controlled parking scheme. Obviously, along with most others in the street, is locally listed in the heart of the conservation area. So consider no objection, subject to the appropriate design and use of material on this locally listed building in the Hartland Conservation Area, policy ESD2 of the Hartland Local Plan and policy 85 and 87 of the district plan first.
No problem with 45 degrees from the neighbours.
Let's go back to the original.
The reason I say that is that when you have something built like it was, or extended as it was previously extended,
So that's
sometimes a reason, and the
down
reason
slope,
might
and then
be
that's the one.
probably 45 degrees.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay, because I think the extension upstairs is, it only comes to the edge of that hashed area, I think.
Yeah,
Not
so
really
if we,
that
if you, yeah, so that essentially the yellow block is showing the ground floor extension. The upper floor extension is further back. A little bit.
I mean, it'd be fine if I reckon it'd be
A small area to fill it.
Yeah,
It's a small area.
It's cost quite a lot when you get back. but-
I think that the yellow block is just showing the ground floor, but there is additional first floor extension as well, but it's further back on the.
It's within that existing grey block.
So the rear elevation, not busy, is it?
I don't think there's a rear view.
That's a suit, I mean.
We're usually content with parking provision on a street like that, aren't we?
Well, as I said, it's rare. This has actually got parking, off-street parking, one space, and the
Yeah.
others actually have none.
You'd have to deny every application that came.
Yeah.
Well, I was, having looked at the plans earlier, I was happy with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
because the right community doesn't show anything in relation to the next door.
Would you like,
Subject to,
subject to no loss of amenity?
or subject,
Probably,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I can add that in.
Well,
We want to say subject to the 45-degree angle not being.
It's an amenity thing, so I think no loss of amenity covers us. Because the point of the 45-degree angle is it's about light amenities.
I can use the 45-degree mention because there is a specific policy that covers that, but I can do both. It's okay.
That's it, but
Just draw the triangle as
Yeah.
attention to it.
It's because actually that first floor is coming out further than it is at present at that point.
all in favour of the recommendations of the
As amended.
Those next down.
Thank you. 5, 2022 3028 at 23 Grove Avenue. When you're ready, have any observations on this one?
The current property appears to be a modest bungalow from frontage, but in fact covers quite a large footprint. The proposal is to raise the roof to create habitable accommodation in the in the loft space. An application was submitted in 2021 for a similar proposal, but on a larger scale, which created a dominant dwelling on the neighbouring properties, which was refused. It's also proposed in this application to demolish the existing detached carport and extend down the side and across the rear to enlarge the footprint, and to demolish the garage to the opposite side and extend in a minor way on that side. The first floor stroke in the roof space is proposed to introduce 3 bedrooms. Just move to that to help you see the lie of the land. It's proposed to introduce 3 bedrooms with associated storage and 2 bathrooms. A 1 metre gap to the boundaries provided to both sides. The roof design is stepped in significantly to reduce impact on the neighbouring properties and to not appear too dominant on the street scene. There is ample off-street parking on frontage, which has a carriage driveway. Property is currently white render with red brick. It's proposed to use these materials again, along with areas of cedar timber cladding, zinc cladding, and the slate roof tiles to create a more modern style property. Consider no objections, subject to no loss of amenity on the neighbouring properties. Policy ESD 2 of the Hartman's neighbourhood plan and policy 72 of the district plan reflects. I assume you'd like to see.
Is the bottom one there, the proposed, what it will look like?
It is, yeah. So the top one is the existing and the one lower down is the proposed. And I think the blue dotting is the outline of the existing.
The question if there's the outline of the proposed that was turned down.
I think I've got the drawings to help you. I haven't got the outline, but I've got the actual drawing.
That's the.
Yes, that's. It had like a carport on the right and a garage to the left. But that's the refused one.
In case you really don't like the question, just.
That's the new.
Yes.
Yeah, just to help you see how it is.
The front picture again, the first picture again.
Yeah, so I think. I've got it, but I can-
Oh, I meant on the
that one
screen.
there,
yeah,
there
that-
you go,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a trap. That's its character, isn't it? It's,
I mean, that's, again, this seems to be the passion, be very busy.
I think it's, I mean, but I know that it's happening all the time, but you've got character property going to be,
It's also disappointing to lose a bungalow.
And the three bungalows in a row, they look pretty similar, this drawing is great.
One next to it looks taller, but that might be the angle.
I think it is.
It's on a hill, I think, slightly.
There is a hill.
Yes, there is. Yes, it does go right.
it's like street.
Sorry, what's the difference between,
Many a knee.
What do you need? By falling?
That's walking up.
That's different design. But
yeah, there's less.
It's less dense or something.
Quite a mixed streets in general.
Yes, it is. It's quite a longish street and it's very well.
Do we have a finance proposal?
Yeah, there's one there somewhere.
But there's that one, the floor plan.
Yeah.
And there's a plan proposed somewhere in that file.
it is.
Right, so this is the little house.
There's a big one next to it on the left.
And then there's
Still
the,
bungalows.
I mean, bearing in mind this was 3 years ago, so I'm assuming that this is still accurate. There's the street scene drawing.
Not convinced it is.
I think the one on the right may have changed as well. And I looked at this and I was quite happy with the proposal.
The street scene actually just in front of Roger, so I don't know if that helps to show if the house to the right has changed. See the drawing.
That's actually.
Yes, no, it hasn't changed.
No, no.
I think one of those.
Yeah.
Down the hill as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure I remember seeing one.
Like a semi-bungalow.
Those two. of them.
Yeah, it's two sort of.
So there's 2-story.
And I don't know, on the opposite side, the bungalows still, aren't they? But then further up, we go into, it's definitely mixed.
It's
streets,
very
isn't it?
mixed,
Yeah.
yes.
It's increasingly not bungalow.
Yes.
Every time somebody comes in for Grove Avenue.
Mm,
Still a certain amount of character.
in that stretch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Assuming that these ones are still very here.
But it's not conservation.
No.
Yeah, I suppose it's
And it's not locally listed.
I think the opposite.
All in favour?
Okay, that's agreed.
Okay, 5/20/22, 2984 at 12/14 South Devon Road. Your observations when you're ready.
Yeah. Just go back to my street. Nuisance, I'm thinking.
You get a second television.
Encourage Carl. Okay, this is the site of the Friends Meeting House and all works are proposed for the caretaker's living accommodation at the rear of the property. It's proposed to demolish the existing single story, just move to that one, bathroom stroke utility element to replace with a 2-story extension which will reconfigure the living room, thus providing an additional hireable rooms for the hall element at ground floor. Install a bathroom and enlarge a bedroom at the first floor level. It's also proposed to replace the existing dormer windows which are in need of replacement. Additional photovoltaic panels are also proposed to be added to the already approved group on the roof at the side. Materials are to match existing. The property is locally listed in the Harpenden Conservation Area. I'll say consider no objections, subject to the appropriate design and use of materials on this locally listed building in the Harpenden Conservation Area. Policy ESD2, neighbourhood plan, and 85 and 87 of additional planning plans.
Any comments from councillors? And would we like to put the drawing? Councillor Cousin?
I think it's okay. It's not visible from, it's a very sensitive Frontage, isn't it? But you
The
don't
front
see
it
it.
just says, yes, but the back it's.
And they're adding extra panels to the side and there's so many panels on the side.
Yeah,
So,
I think I remember when the panels came to us.
I think ultimately it's making changes to a modern element of the
yeah,
property, isn't it?
yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
Yes.
listed, so
It's not-
it's not, yeah, not second. Listed in that sense.
It thus providing an additional carnival room for the hall element of ground floor. In terms of parking.
I don't think they have any parking now anyway, do
You
they?
do?
Do they,
We have
meeting,
small car
depends
park.
meeting, do they? Okay.
There's a small car park, which is always great fun, well, over years, but it was exciting getting in. If I am going to anything, they're actually parked further up the town, just walk.
Yeah,
It's easy.
it's almost town.
It's easy, it's an easy walk. Park on Arden Road.
Any further comments? No, all in favour of the recommendation?
Thanks, agreed.
Five, 2022, 3021, 56, and 311.
This committee considered an application on this site for a pair of semi-detached dwellings, which they expressed concern over. That application was subsequently withdrawn at the LPA. This new application is for single 5-bedroom detached dwelling instead. Despite it being a single dwelling on the site, the footprint fills the plot with a 1.1 metre gap to the boundary of 48 and a 1 metre gap with number 44 Crabtree Lane. The withdrawn application is directly up to the boundary on both sides. The ridge height is in line with number 48 and stepped in to be hit at the upper part to reduce impact on the neighbours and the street scene. The property does not project as far forward as the existing. Number 44 sits much further forward on its plot, and number 48 will be impacted in a similar way to the existing. There do not appear to be any trees removed. There is parking provision for 3 cars and a good sized integrated garage. Is there no objection? I'd like to see the building for this one. Sure. Right, so that's the withdrawn application, and then moving on to this is the new application.
But recently was considered.
My
Yeah.
concern is that's still a big, that's a property on a small site. It's vertical size, so I put a question mark against this one.
So just to be clear, the drawing on the right, it's got the existing superimposed on it, as it were. So it looks as if the new is actually lower down than the roof line is lower down than the existing. Is that right?
I think let's have a look at the plans properly.
Maybe I
Because I don't
missed
think it
that.
is. I think,
No.
I think what you're thinking is the existing is actually the roof
Yeah.
proposed.
No, I think it is the existing is underneath the proposed, isn't it?
It is, but if you look,
Yes, I mean,
if you look at this,
Oh, yeah.
that roof form is.
Yeah.
So it'd be the same height as.
So it'd be the same height as the house to the left, number 48.
Yes. This is it. I understand it now. This is existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
reference, but this is proposed.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
actually going up. slightly
Yeah, to me, it's a big mass.
Yeah.
Can we have a look at, can we have a look at the photo again, just to see what it's like, because
It's close to the one on the left. Isn't it?
it's quite prominent in itself now, though, isn't it, I suppose?
It
If you look at
projects
it like-
further forward now than it will do.
Yeah,
But admittedly, it is a sloped roof and
The sloping takes away the problem.
Yes.
Which is great.
The back of the street's in,
the actual drawing.
no, they, not that one, the other one.
The one with the current proposal.
that was,
See, to me, if the roof went like that, I might be more sympathetic, but it's this height here. And good, can we go back to the one that was turned down, the one they withdrew?
I was thinking it makes it look.
See,
like-
that actually is, there's more space around the building.
yeah, I know what you
I
mean.
think the reason why that one might have been sort of withdrawn in a sense is that it went back an awful long
Ah.
way. That I think was the main issue. as opposed to this one sits on a much
Yeah.
squarer
Well,
plot.
really, it doesn't, it's not quite so dominant because there's more space around the building.
And it went
Yeah.
from boundary to boundary as well, I think was another issue.
Yeah.
Although it stepped in, there was no clearance at all along the boundary line, whereas this one, there is, but.
And that one, of course, would have parking for two families and it's only
Yes.
very tight entrance. But I think Nigel's right about the roof
Reform.
form. It looks nicer in that one.
I mean, to me, if there's something of rejecting it, I would reject it.
On the roof, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the description is a two-storey dwelling with habitable roof space.
That's the problem.
So 3
So
stories.
that's 3 stories.
Yes.
We're just calling it.
And there are
One, it's always if there's one room in the roof space, I think that,
well, there's two now.
it's 2 or 3, I think.
How many rooms? there were?
Automatically, by having accommodation in the roof space, you lift the eaves anyway. You've got to have the head clear.
Yeah.
You have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's an L-shaped bedroom in the roof. Plus the a dressing room, plus an ensuite, plus the boiler room. So it's not possible to compromise on that. Still have a
Yeah, you
bedroom.
can still have a nice master ensuite up there.
I don't think it's an ensuite, but actually.
Okay.
This is one window in the back.
Yes, I mean, when they say, I think they say reduce the impact on the street scene, but
Let's just say I've got a bedroom and a toilet and a ensuite in the roof, and I don't have a roof like that. I've got a roof coming in normally,
yes.
you know,
Well, I can't see it reduce the impact on the street scene.
sorry.
I can't see that it reduces the impact on the street.
Well, it would because you'd have,
Would it?
because you'd have.
If it was sort of more like this one here.
Exactly.
That's what I mean.
You'd have it coming in
Yes,
Like that.
yes,
like that.
yes.
We've still got a room in there.
But what they've proposed
Yeah.
doesn't,
No, I'm saying,
is the point.
In a way, it would almost be better, because I think that roof looks quite incongruous, partly because the actual house looks like it ends another giant room. It would be better if they actually had built
Yes,
more of a house.
it's an awful lot of roof.
Yeah.
So they've gone from a pair of semi-detached dwellings to this, which is a house, so they wanted it quite fundamentally.
But it's good that it's in a metre each side, isn't it? It's just,
Yes.
it's if the roof could be tweaked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's mass and scale. But on the street scene,
Yes.
we think it's an overdevelopment,
Yes.
overdevelopment. Any other words we'd like in there? Playing buzzword bingo at the moment for getting
Let's say a dominant roof.
But yeah,
Dominant roof.
Roof giving a cramped.
Mhm.
Presenting a
effect.
cramped appearance.
Giving
Yeah.
a cramped appearance.
What's it about incongruous appearance? I
You like that word?
do. I don't
Use
like
that
this
word.
roof. We get the word incongruous, and I like that word. And it is. I have a fundamental objection for some reason to the way that looks. I'll tell you why.
I don't think it's helped that you've got one drawing on top of the other, although that does
No,
help.
it does make it look cluttered, doesn't
But
it?
even this one, I think it arguably looks worse in, which is not on top of the other. It's just a proper look at it. I was think the side looks weird. Look at that from the side. Sorry, this is just observations. Any other concerns that we would like to put in the recommendation? No, and I think the recommendation that we're putting to a vote is refuse. All in favour?
Okay, that's a read.
Lovely. Now is your moment to speak if you'd like to call it in.
One should.
Anyone else have a Zoom on calling it in?
I'm not as.
Not an obvious refusal of mine. It was a refusal.
I'm personally wouldn't call it in public, but it's not the overall design that's wrong, it's this particular aspect which could be cured. And the other thing is, I'm sensitive that clearly number of callings, which is mushroomed in the district. If I'm wrong. We shouldn't be doing those that are relatively minor because it actually increases the risk that someone's and change the rules and actually take away our right to call in. I prefer to do something which is, where it's so obviously wrong. So personally, I wouldn't.
No, mate.
If it helps or doesn't help, we didn't call the last one in.
Oh.
So,
Are you happy if I don't put it to a vote, councillor Stonewall? 2022, not 2022, 2023, 0007, to Milford House, call out then by the change of year. Your
Okay.
observation?
yep, so this committee considered a similar proposal to which this was refused, so to this, which was refused in September 22. This resubmission almost mirrors the refused application, just move to that, save for a small amendment of 500 millimetres to the ground floor extension element to the side of number 4 Milford Hill in an attempt to address the reasons for refusal. I think said consider no objections subject to the previous reasons for refusal being fully addressed. So all we're talking about is this, the piece that has been nipped in, as opposed to there.
I love it.
It's the same width, or is it?
Exactly the
Wider.
same, but they nipped it in by 500 mil just here. On this area here.
Is it 500 mil smaller? I think? Yeah,
So it's 500 mil back, so smaller.
smaller.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, it's an extension, not a read. Knocking it down and redoing it.
What was the reason, sorry, the reason for refusal was,
Basically effect on the neighbouring property.
The
Yeah.
reason it's height, depth, bulk and position along the application site boundary. Doesn't look that much different to me, but
No, but then it's difficult to know. Do we have a picture of the existing house?
Not the rear, no.
doesn't look, it looks like anything flat.
I know,
Hmm.
I looked at it online, I didn't spot the difference.
It was an extremely small tweak.
So I think they've nipped in marginally from the boundary, actually, just looking, and then, oh, actually, no, they haven't. I think it's just purely the 500
It's just
millimetre at the back.
Do we have plans which show the next door house as well, so we can assess the effect?
I'm not convinced that's changed. I think I know it has, but not in a meaningful way that would get around.
Top of the meter, isn't it?
Well, there's very little change, isn't there? To all intents and purposes, it's the same plan.
It's still along the site boundary. Is it the same height?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same, well, not the same depth. Similar bulk. I'm not sure we can actually know.
So, I mean, you can see it's the difference really is from that.
Be inclined to say previous reasons for refusal appear not to have been.
It's expressed concern that they haven't.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Any other comments from the council?
I think it's right, express concern whether the revised proposal.
Hasn't met the previous reasons for refusal.
Yeah, I think we have to say that without
Yeah.
looking at it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so all in favour of express concern that the reasons for previous reasons for refusal may not have been fully addressed. All in favour? Voted on that one, didn't we? I can just say it. By 2023, 0040 does not meet the criteria required for consideration. So on to 2023, 0042, 16 Ox Lane.
This committee considered a similar application in November 22, which was to create a ground floor interval extension to the side of and in line with the existing single-storey rear projection to create open plan living accommodation, along with 2 modest extensions to the frontage to relocate the downstairs WC and the addition of a gym/study. At first floor level, it was proposed to expand the bedroom size, and no additional bedrooms. They introduced a glass balustraded terrace to the centre of the property, which this committee expressed concern over, along with the first floor rear extension to the side with the Fallows Green properties. This application replicates those changes, but looks to remove the terrace element and replace it with just a Juliet balcony. The neighbouring property at number 18, Ox Lane, has a substantial linked double garage to the boundary of the application site and falls in line with the rear building line and proposed rear extensions. Also consider express concern, despite the rear glazed balustrade terrace element being removed from this proposal, the committee still have concerns over the first floor rear extension, which could lead to a loss of amenity to numbers 1 and 2 Fallows Green, policy 72 of the district plan, and policy ESD2 of the Harpenden neighbourhood plan. That's. You want to look at the drawings, but
No, I can remember
Yeah.
that.
No,
Quite recently.
I can remember this one. Yes, it was pretty,
If
it
the
was
world's
pretty,
getting back in this.
it was very recent. Yes, I remember the.
Yeah.
Yes, well remember that. Right.
Any comments from council?
We seem to have had a number come back that we used tonight, isn't it?
It's the greatest hits.
It's. Whose hits though?
By
And I was still concerned in that we still seem to have basically the same problem we rejected it on previously.
yes,
Yes.
but we expressed concern previously. And I think it's right. It's right to
Just express.
express that.
I agree.
Previous reasons or previous reasons, yes.
Like, it wasn't.
Well, it
refused,
it wasn't refused, it was withdrawn. wasn't it?
Welcome the removal of the button.
Yes.
I mean, would we like to welcome the removal?
I mean, just amongst ourselves, yeah.
Yeah,
I appreciate that they have done something to try and address.
yeah,
Just as a matter of drafting, it says still has have concerns, and we understand that, so that's referring back to withdrawn application, but on the basis of that recommendation should stand alone, I think you should refer back to the withdrawn application number, whatever it was.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, just have that in being removed from the previous proposal and put the reference.
Is it an infill build?
I think it is,
no,
or the ones
Is it not?
next to it.
no, I don't think so.
I wonder whether it was the ones to the immediate right were the infills maybe.
The ones to the right of Fallows Green, which I think were possibly infill at some point, but number 1 Fallows Green was redeveloped.
Yes, one from.
Because I remember when that came.
Yes, that was.
I think
It was one introduction, wasn't it? Yes,
Window.
yes,
Number 3 Fallows Green, I think is probably the original.
yes, but I
house.
think they've been there quite a while.
They have, yeah.
I mean, they're not,
Yeah.
they're not recent.
Do we, I mean, I'm happy with the recommend. I just wondered whether we know whether either of those two did object, Fellows Green.
I can look, but I didn't, no, I
Probably
didn't.
won't,
look.
won't alter the recommendation. Just interesting, because if they're not bothered, they're the only ones that would
Mm.
really be impacted by it.
Well, yes, because I think that people may come
Yeah.
Yeah,
afterwards, it would be.
all in favour of the recommendation? 5/2022 3053 419 Luton Road.
Now, this one actually, I made a mistake because I didn't realise that this does just fall outside of our boundary. I didn't realise that our car park that is ours actually is in Harpenden Rural. Isn't actually, so we don't actually need to.
That's right. So,
No, I'm not going to find it.
yes, I was about to say, I don't think it's actually.
It's just beyond.
It's just
the boundary.
outside, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so the boundary line is the cut-off up the centre of the common,
Yes,
the road called the common.
yes,
So,
you just
yeah.
say it's just outside that
Yes,
boundary.
but I didn't realise that our car park at the bottom there, that's ours, actually falls into Harpenden Rural.
Everything once again.
Which car
brilliant.
park,
The little one, the one there,
Where you turn up towards.
at the roundabout, yeah, that's ours. Yeah. So where the sign is, the Harpenden sign, the flower building, that's ours,
Turn up to,
the Kinsford Green.
Kinsford.
So anyway, we move on, we don't need to do that one.
I searched around for it and couldn't find it.
5/2023 008 does not meet the criteria. 5/2022 3054 a busy evening travel road, number 28.
It is, yeah. Right, the proposal looks to extend rearwards incorporating the existing rear extensions at ground floor level. Let's do that one there. To fall in line with the neighbour's rear extension, this is to expand the kitchen space. First floor is proposed to extend an existing bedroom. This extension will also extend to similar depth with the neighbour's first floor extension. The property is locally listed in the Hartlepool Conservation Area. However, the materials proposed are of a matching palette to the existing house and surrounding properties. No changes to the frontage are proposed. Consider no objections subject to the appropriate design and use of materials on this locally listed building in the conservation area. Policy ESG2 for Hertfordshire Neighbourhood Plan and policy 85 and 87 the district plan affairs.
Thank you. Heather.
Like
Any,
to see the drawings?
any comments from councillors? Would we like to see the
So
drawing?
it's going to mirror the one on the, we're looking at the right-hand side, are we?
So, yeah, so the piece on the right is the neighbouring property. So the piece that extends out sort of kind of, I'll get my marker. So just here, that is the neighbour. And then up here is also the neighbouring property. And then this is the said property
Yeah.
that's extending.
Yeah.
So essentially they're looking to mirror what the neighbour has done.
So the only negative impact there could be would be from the left-hand house that we can't see, I guess.
Potentially.
I think we should probably just add some language from the first subject. And
So
then
let me just look at the drawings, actually.
I suppose it's so terraced, it would have no different effect from the existing extension of the adjacent property, would it? The terraces.
But yeah, but I suppose the house to the right, they may not have got anyone to that.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to add in the word and subject to no loss of amenity?
Yes, please. All in favour of the recommendation? 5/2023/0024 and 5/2022/3053 do not meet the criteria required for consideration. So on to 5/2023/0020 at 30 South Down Road. Long for the days when we get out of the 00s.
The property is set back a long way from the road with a long driveway. The proposal looks to convert the side single garage into a habitable accommodation along with a single story extension in front to include a WC and reconfigure the entrance hallway. It's also proposed to extend sideways and rearward at 2-story level to create an additional bedroom in a mezzanine style, 5 bedrooms in total. The roof line of the extension presents as cat slide to reduce the impact on number 28 South Down Road, along with the daylight assessment provided, which demonstrates no loss of light to the adjoining properties. A small balcony to the frontage is also proposed. Despite the loss of garage, there is ample parking provision on the frontage. The property is located in the Hartlepool Conservation Area. So consider no objection subject to no loss of amenity number 28 South Down Road, policy ESD2, the neighbourhood plan, and policy 72 and 85 the district plan affairs. We want to look at the drawings for this one.
Yes, please.
Is the grey, that's the new
The
building.
grey is the new, yeah.
It is all single story, isn't it?
No,
No.
no, it's 2-story. Right, it's off.
Once you've gone along, it's similar.
Yeah, front balcony. Suppose there's nothing off of it.
It's not 2-story all the way, it's a.
No, they only want to have them on you.
Ponds, yeah, on common, yes.
Nice view.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see Joe.
I'll never use it.
They might.
having to drive past, people make proof.
Sorry.
Classics on the common, like it's so.
Well, I just say, yeah, it's but I think there are a few trees in the way.
Quite possibly.
In fact, quite a few trees in the way, I think.
I was only being. Any, comments on council?
I've never seen anyone on these balconies physically go up the deck chairs, they're sitting there with a bikini on and their dark glasses and a suntan lotion.
I won't ask if you often drive around looking for people on that.
But you know what I mean, there's quite a few houses that have that.
Yes.
I've never seen
Maybe at
anyone
the
on
back,
the
but never at the
motorbike,
front. Maybe in West Brom.
There's a large balcony actually on the house, just, I think it's on Pigeonwick actually. There's large front
Yes.
balconies.
Mhm.
The ones I own are pretty big. I use, you can see it like,
What about those?
I don't have one on the ground floor, if I had a balcony, it'd be a patio.
It used to be uniform along there, things depending on others. Already isn't, so I think damage is done.
Yeah.
I think the balcony is really out of keeping. And that's the detail.
I think it's out of keeping. I think that the problem is, as you say, I think the street scene is already pretty gone down that bit south there,
That bit,
Hmm.
yes,
in terms of uniformity.
yes. Yes, in terms of uniformity, that's gone really up to the next junction.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not suggesting we refuse it, maybe even express concern is too much, but can we, do we ever recommend something along the lines, recommend approval subject to well, really what I'm trying to say is part of it I don't like is that more of an observation, but it's a name and I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Do we ever do anything like that?
I mean, we can note things. So say something like no objection subject to, however, we note that a balcony is out of keeping in this.
Yes.
That would
In this location, and
Yeah.
Balcony, yes.
think that this should be considered by the officer,
Oh, perfect, thank you.
something on those lines.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
All in favour of the recommendation with that? Five, 2023-0029 at 12 Ardham Grove.
Okay, this proposal is to make large additions to the side of the property at ground, first and roof floor level, which includes the loss of a single detached garage. The proposed footprint of the property following the changes appears to be similar to that of number 11 Arden Grove. The neighbouring property to the side with the extensions appears to have a garage between the property and the application site boundary line, and a 45-degree line has been shown for number 11 Arden Grove, where the two-storey extension has been stepped in at first floor level. Proposals look to expand the ground floor living accommodation with the addition of a study and further storage. At first floor, it's proposed to introduce a further bedroom and a number of bathrooms straight en suites, and in the roof, another bedroom is proposed, 5 in total. The roof line closest to number 13 Arden Grove has been stepped down to reduce any impact on them and any detrimental impact on the street scene. There are 3 parking spaces detailed on frontage. Property is in the conservation area but is not listed. So consider no objections subject to no loss of amenity to neighbouring properties and the appropriate design and use of materials in Parkland conservation area. Also ESD 2 and 7285.
I was amazed this wasn't locally listed.
It's not.
In the conservation area, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a flood protection.
Semi-detached.
It's semi, yeah.
Yes, it's
Sort of this-
going to be very unfair.
Well, it matches the neighbour. Actually, yeah.
The one on the left has got a side extension at the setback, hasn't it?
Yes, and I think this one is 2.
Yeah, it's
And then-
getting rid of the lovely little garage thing out the back.
But this is a 2-storey extension, isn't it?
So it's 2-storey,
three stories, isn't there? Really?
Yeah.
There's a roof space there on the top right, top left.
Yeah. It's the
So
one,
that's what I'm-
what that thing on the screen shows, I think, is the new on the extension.
Yeah,
highlight.
so the brown is the new and the white is existing.
Oh, okay. We have a look at the frontage again, with the next door. So the next door's got one, but it is set back.
I think
Yeah.
it's also still got a garage in it.
Yes, you're right.
Mm.
I'm not
Yes.
100% sure. on that,
Shall we
but I
go to the
think it
street
has.
scene, actually?
Yes.
Go to the street scene, then we can leave around them, can't we?
I mean, it's difficult to tell with the angle, but it looked like it would be hard to get a car down the side.
Oh, I don't think anyone uses the garages.
No, well, nobody uses the
No.
garage.
But you might, I mean, you might, yeah, no.
It looks very narrow. I don't think.
Yeah, that might partly be the photo, I suppose, but
Yeah.
Having a garage nowadays is really just a fake symbol of someone having a nice shed or something.
Right, so.
I mean, this is another one of my comments on
Tricky for
cars
us
that
to
are
actually
overlapping.
see it, unfortunately.
yeah,
See if I can try and get the little.
Yeah, it's the
Because
trees
it's,
that are
yeah,
going to-
unfortunately, because the road sort of crescents round, it's hard to see.
I'm surprised it went up there with the Google.
Let me, if I come out, we might be able to see from above a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
So the house in question is this one here.
As the house to the side of it is at an angle, would the building works impact on the house to the side because of the angle of it?
Which to the right,
Yeah.
Mm, I
they've
mean,
got a big garage actually, I think.
Well, I don't know. I just want to be clear that what's proposed in the front and coming forward is going to match the other.
I don't think they're building forward,
side.
it's side and rearwards.
but it's not going to match the left-hand side, is it? It's
No,
gonna, no.
that's the point. It's going to adversely affect the street scene.
Yeah.
Because it is the
That
conservation
is
area,
what
because it's in conservation area.
Okay.
That's my concern. It's
Yeah.
not, it's going to be, we could use your favourite phrase in Concord. In the conservation area, because they don't match.
Every meeting we pick a word of choice.
I mean, the one on the left-hand side steps out one
Yes.
bit, and this is going
Which,
out.
what they're saying is it's going to look
Yeah,
in the conservation area.
You can use the word unbalanced.
Unbalanced.
Yeah.
express concern about.
I think Harry's right as well. I mean, the parking I don't think it's changed particularly, but that is tight for three spaces.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a big mass.
Yes,
No.
I'm not very happy about the appearance of the conservation area.
I thought it was, I thought it could be tight. You look at what it's going to be like now. Well, it's a nice big.
Yeah.
Is the plot to the left, is it a bigger plot? I realise it's semi-detached, but is it just the?
Yeah, it looks like it's a bigger plot, not least because I think it's got more garden.
Okay.
Oh.
It looks to me like it was originally one house
Oh, you reckon?
and the one on the left has kept most of the garden.
No, I think so.
If you look at that,
So it looks to be the one on the right.
Quite strange.
Look at the way the garden dog looks.
Look at that, yeah, look at that, yeah. I didn't notice that before, yeah.
Oh, so that's all garden.
I don't see, I mean, yeah.
I could flog some of that to British Rail for more parking.
Yes, I was just thinking, I wonder when they took the photograph, the car park's empty.
probably COVID.
During COVID, yes.
Could have parked there, but
It,
all the time during COVID.
a bit more premier parking.
And let's not give any ideas to people about selling green space for parking.
Oh, that's
Express concern about.
That's concern, but not.
Detrimental impact on the street scene in the Hartland Conservation Area.
Unbalanced.
Or do we refuse?
Well, I'd refuse, but.
I think let's get the words that we're objecting on and then let's put it to a vote.
The car park was bigger, and I think they sold some of it along there. When they at the same time bought extra car parking from the school side. Which might explain the odd garden shape. Not there's any relevance to what we're doing.
No. But
It's a bit of a filling a plot example, isn't it? Both in terms of the building work and squeezing in the 3 parking spaces.
I think it's almost an overdevelopment on the plot. In fact, I think it probably is an
The
overdevelopment.
development amount of keeping. The street scene and the conservation.
And by
area.
all that.
I'm assuming you mean within the recommendation, you're not making off on the house.
But the adjoining house has done similar.
But it's not, I don't think the one, because if you look at the one on the left, it is set further back the work they've done.
Yeah.
I do think this would actually have a bit more.
It's
It
set
won't be
further back,
balanced.
and because of the angle, you
Yeah.
don't see it so
Yes.
much.
But what, and because it's coming forward, in the conservation area street scene, it's out of balance.
Yep, absolutely, you're right.
Okay, so we've got our words. I think I'll start with a recommendation of refusal and then move down to recommendations of concern. So all in favour of refusal? That's the majority, so.
Okay.
Again, this is your moment. If anyone would like to discuss calling it in.
Well, because it shouldn't be necessary in conservation areas, should it? They ought to take.
But
The other one that we decided not to. No.
We've called in less in the conservation area.
we have,
You think the conservation area protects it? Well, perhaps we ought to make sure it protects it.
I would err on not calling it in, but I don't feel
I'm
strongly.
borderline.
Yes, I'm borderline.
Given everyone seems to be borderline, perhaps we should suggest not calling it in, just because if we're conflicted on it, then we should probably.
We made the point to the officer, haven't we? So it's
Yeah. Make the point.
Yeah.
5/2023/0039/45 Morton Line. Observations.
Okay, site currently has a large attached dwelling with a side double garage. It's proposed to demolish this property and replace with a pair of semi-detached 4-bedroom dwellings with a single-storey garage to the side with 2 off-street parking spaces for each property. Properties almost fill the plot boundary to boundary. The ridge height of the new properties is approximately 1 metre higher, which is lower than 47 Morton End Lane, but it's approximately 1.5 metres higher than 43 due to the road sloping. The road is not made up of any particular style and character. The proposed design and materials appear to match that of the neighbouring semi-detached properties. Mature trees are to be retained in the rear garden, with further landscaping and trees proposed to the frontage. Impact on the neighbouring properties was reduced by the single-storey garages to the side and the positioning of the neighbouring properties on their footprints. The site is not in the conservation area. Considered no objections, subject to no loss of means to the neighbouring properties and no detrimental impact on the street scene. Obviously, ESD 1 and 2 of the neighbourhood plan and 69 and 70 of the district plan refers. That is quite blurred, that picture.
Can we have a look at the plan? Because I was quite concerned about the height. Given that road slopes.
Where is it? I can't picture it.
I mean, my initial reaction was, I didn't like it,
Yeah.
couldn't refuse it, but I wasn't certain of what ground we might argue.
Quite attractive house.
It's
But it's period, isn't it?
Yeah, it's attractive, so 50s.
The street scene here, so I think it's not as high as the neighbour,
No,
but
but it
then it is higher than the other neighbour.
doesn't look too bad on that.
It
but,
sort of looks the same as that one. So.
Yeah.
It's a pity to lose character.
Quite now. I've gone up to me.
Sorry, Pinsky character for 1950s house in a road which surprisingly isn't conservation area, but maybe ought to be. Yet on the other hand, the houses either side either were built as or have been redeveloped as semis. So, you know, it's difficult to refuse.
But streets.
If it's the one I think it is, yes, it's characterful, but I wouldn't say it's of a significant enough architectural merit to.
There is something also in that. They've done about supporting redevelopment of certain houses, like the fish and that kind of thing, and I just look at it and think it's a little bit.
It's more than like not that close.
Sorry. Yeah, I just wonder, it's just a bit, you know,
Tatty.
tired. Yeah,
You know when that wasn't tired.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I do think.
Doesn't mean say you should.
So it
chop
looks
down.
very similar to these next door.
I think they're quite smart, those ones.
Yeah.
To be honest, they are. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Is it gonna look like that? It's gonna look like
Yes.
those.
So yeah, if you look here at the street scene, that mirrors the design of those.
I quite like them. The
Yeah,
ones
well,
that
they've
they've
got-
done.
Because
Yeah.
they've got some character, haven't they? They're not.
They've got some character, yeah.
Yes.
Both keep that slant that you,
Yes.
like you see there in next
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
I think they have essentially modelled them.
Yeah.
On that they are just slightly higher up because they are higher up on the road.
Whereas the one next door looks higher.
And they're not quite as broad. The proposed two are not quite as broad, they're slightly narrower.
Because I think the ones that are proposed have got garages to the side as well.
They do. I was very pleased with that because as we've established tonight, everyone.
Yeah,
uses
actually,
their
no, these
garage.
have got garages. I lie, these they have. They've got garages.
Could you just turn and look up the street?
Look rather nice.
Yeah.
Very nice planting.
My only concern with the height is given how that street slopes, will it be overly dominant on?
The thing is I suppose the neighbour to the other, to that side is even higher again.
Yeah, I know. I think it's all right. I think
Yeah.
it's just. We need to, we've mentioned no detrimental impact. And I think that's enough, but we just need to make sure that the planning officer is getting his tape measure out and having a look at that. Or her tape measure out and having a look at that. Yeah, it is the one, I think it is. I think you're right, Harry.
It's in the terms, please.
It's actually looking at that one, at what they're proposing, is the roof is not as dominant as the ones that are already there.
I think they've done it very well, actually.
Thanks.
What they've proposed.
Yes. I think the problem with the house there at the moment is to get two single-story garages to the side. They sort of unbalance it.
It's quite a wide plot because you have got those two garages. Which haven't been developed, we haven't gone above.
I assume
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
They were built after the house. Unbalancing.
You would assume so.
Or 1950s house would have got the garage.
Could be 1930s.
Yeah,
Could be.
I would say it's early because it looks like, I think a lot of them have had a refresh and it looks like one of the ones that's probably
But it looks,
not original, but close to it of when they did that extension.
yes, because we know, looks more, sort of some of the houses in back down Keith that were built in between the walls.
Quite possible.
Yeah.
Anyway, any further comments? All in favour of the recommendation?
Sweet.
Okay, 5/20/23/0056 does not meet the criteria required for consideration, so on to 5/20/23/0061 Roundwood Lane.
The property is a good size semi-detached dwelling. The proposals at ground floor level look to introduce an entrance porch to match the neighbours, extend forward the utility room and an infill extension to the rear to bring that section of the house in line with the existing rear building line. there, yeah. The first floor is proposed to extend over the utility room front extension and across existing ground floor elements to expand the existing bedroom size and introduce additional bathrooms. No extra bedrooms are being added. Extensions appear to create a balanced look to the property with no loss of amenity to neighbouring properties. The site is not a conservation area. I've said consider no objections subject to no loss of amenity to neighbouring properties. Policy ESD2 and policy 72 of the district plan.
Can I see how the front will look?
Yep.
Actually, it is a character of house.
I was going to do a picture of the house next door. It says they're going to mirror the plot from the house next door. Do we have that?
It's a pretty full.
The brand, again, it's not locally listed.
Yeah.
It can't be, it's not a conservation.
Right, so there's the index rent.
That's very attractive. This is.
Right, okay, so there's the existing and there's the proposed. Frontage.
When you think about some of these buildings have not got really any protection and that shed on birthday and whatever, it's just got local listing.
But it's something with in the SADC plan, when I was chairing Plans North, that it does say that if you have a characterful house, if it's not in the conservation area, it can still be a characterful house that is worth saving.
Yeah.
You shouldn't just automatically assume that it can't be
Yes.
knocked about with or knocked down.
Yes.
And you see that the proposed porch to me is not nearly as nice as that's existing,
Yes.
that's
I'm not
proposed.
quite sure why, have this overwhelming urge to match the next door house's porch.
Do you think we should have a look at it?
Yep.
With 1,000 now, the big doors, like big windows.
It's a big, lots of different styles of houses on there.
Yes, I mean, I just think it would be an enormous pity to lose that.
Yeah.
That's existing. Proposed. It's a bigger. Is there? Oh,
Yeah, they're just here.
you're going to be done in matching materials. I think that is essential for a character.
Right, so I think it's this house here.
Bushes moving away.
The neighbour, unfortunately, you can't see because of the development.
I think they're actually still doing the porch on the.
Oh, well,
So I suppose,
Be as matching there as.
so if they're semi-detached, presumably, then that had a similar porch that has been
I think you can just see it.
worked on.
I think it's still,
I think
that
they had a
porch is
porch.
still, that's there on that.
Yes.
It's a shame, really.
Well, I think I've raised these.
there you go, you can see it. There we go, through the gap in the trees. But they essentially mirrored each other. But clearly the one to the right is being redeveloped and the left is looking to do the same.
I think it's a huge pity they've allowed, it's been allowed to lose that character. Yes.
I can't remember it coming to this committee.
But we're not sure the previous one is doing anything with the porch, are we, I guess?
But it looks like they are. In this picture here, you can see that they're sort of in the middle of building some breeze block arrangement here.
I guess it's not.
Very screen block arranged.
The most
Well, I don't- I
attractive
can't-
little area.
Can't see exactly what it's going to be. It's a breeze block wall at the moment.
If it's already happening next door, shutting the stable door.
That's August 21.
Yeah. I have a look.
I would be, I'd want to fund in some sentence about, I don't know, they would concern the loss of character. Some words in.
Porch area,
A
yeah.
particular porch area.
Yeah.
Side facing emoji.
You what, sorry?
And a side face emoji.
Glazed side light rendered walls.
rendered walls anyway.
No, I know, but
I do want to put in a proviso that they use vacuum materials with this.
yeah, so I think that the points are subject to no loss of amenity, obviously. If we want to raise the point about the porch, the loss of a key part of this characterful property in the porch. And matching materials. Is there anything else we wanted to raise specifically? I mean, personally, I'd be tempted to express concern about the porch.
I'd express concern. I'd go along with that.
I think, yeah, I think I'd be tempted to say along the lines of whilst we have no objection in principle, the committee expresses concern about change the porch as character property. We would also note that there should be no loss of amenity neighbouring properties.
Yeah.
You know, because of the wording like that. All in favour? 5/2023, 0070. 28 James Road. I get very few of these when it's actually a 007.
That's four, that's it.
No.
Sounds from that.
You get them occasionally because in the first part of the year you get up to 70.
It's an 007.
Well, if it's get approved, it's 007 license to build.
You're writing the adverts for them, Roger. Second career in marketing, I can see it now.
You should call in that joke, actually.
Form a separate town council working group for jokes and meetings that we can properly consider.
Right, 28 St James Road is proposed at ground floor to infill the front elevation gap to be in line with the existing ground floor rear stroke side extension and infill at the back of the property in line with the existing rear building line. The first floor and second floor is proposed to extend sideways partially over the existing elements and partially over the new infill front extension to expand the bedroom stroke bathroom space. No additional bedrooms are proposed. A gap down the boundary is retained and parking provision remains at 2 off-street parking spaces. Consider no objection. You can just see here the.
Nice manoeuvring to get that for it.
Well, I think that's how they've been manoeuvring already, I believe. There's no changes.
It remains as two spaces.
It's like the Dukes of Hazzard where you slide in.
Can you remember where St James Road is?
It's sort of over Ox Lane way.
Oh,
It's off
Near the new
Ox Lane. Over Ox Lane and left.
Somewhere in Hull.
social housing.
Over social housing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming higher GND means higher ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it's presumably that square was left, you think, so it wasn't so dominant for number 26.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay, let's see the drawing.
I'm not using front gardens disappear.
There's a picture there actually, the cars parked in the frontage as it is. They've actually got their brick wall now at the front.
We couldn't get a second car. I think.
That's,
We just say,
St James Road edition, Tokyo Drift.
we just say no objection, subject to no loss of immunity to number 26. Then I just feel as though that gap was left for a reason when it was originally built.
number 30.
No, it's number 20.
Oh,
See where it says,
sorry, yeah, so.
it says single story.
Single story, yeah.
I feel as though that gap originally was left because it was maybe too dominating for number 26.
Yes.
That's going to look out the kitchen window straight into a,
Brick wall.
and it still will presumably happen now.
It's also a lot of property
And
in
it's
quite a small block.
Much extra bulk, I suppose, but not much extra, but
Yeah.
Well, the
No,
rear looks pretty dominant.
If there was anything to go by, I'd have to park very carefully.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
for the
Yes.
pictures that shows that they do it already.
Yeah, the property, yeah.
Versus.
But
but also the fact that there's only a tiny gap between the edge of the house, of the car and the road.
well, yes,
Restricts them.
it's not really these properties.
No, you can see, look, that car is gonna have to be tucked in. You're not gonna get in the boot.
If you get it wrong, it goes through the front door.
Might be a parking space, no?
Objections, that's a lot of.
Yeah.
Yes,
So I mean, that's the only option we've got.
yes.
All in favour? You. Right. 2023 0068 0085 0094 to 2022 2974 and 2977 all do not meet the criteria required for consideration. I like it when that happens. Get over them.
Okay. 51 Watkinsford Avenue.
By 2022 2884 31 Brockhamsted.
The proposal is to demolish the dated 4-bedroom detached house and detached garage and replace the 5-bedroom property with accommodation at ground, first and attic floors with an intake garage. Plot is spacious with long gardens to house in Amiable Lane to one side and a sizable property to the other with good space between the properties. Planning permission was granted in 2022 for a large dwelling to replace the existing number 33 Watkinsford Avenue, though this is yet to be built. This proposal, although large, is more modest in scale and height than the approved proposal at number 33. The design looks similar to that which is opposite at number 24 Watkinsford Avenue. Solar panels are proposed for a section of roof to the rear. Tree protection measures are detailed to protect the tree in the rear garden, with a further 2 trees added to the front to enhance the street appearance. A low-level brick wall with hedge planting is proposed at the frontage. The property is not in the conservation area but sits very close to. Consider no objections, subject to no loss of immunity to 33 Watkinsford Avenue, no detrimental impact on the street scene. Policy ESD 1 and 2, the neighbourhood plan, and 69 and 70 of the district planning affairs.
It must be living these things.
And 33 is now being demolished.
It's gone, is it?
It's in the middle of being demolished.
Yeah, you probably have to look at the drawings, but.
I think so, okay.
It's odd that it's not conservation area. These 2 houses are Scorched Avenue and not in the conservation area. That's something which may well be reviewed in future. It's not.
I think it's something that should be reviewed.
I agree.
There's a whole bunch of those though, where you look at the edge of the conservation area and it's halfway up the street and you think. I've much the same thought sometimes with Morton and Lane, some of that.
Well, the street properties at the end of the road and the rest of the street isn't, it's bizarre.
But this is not attractive houses that it's going, so.
No, I think it's kind of, to use the term that's been used, shabby already.
I think I said shabby, I think I said taxi.
You did say shabby.
I thought I said taxi. Same principle.
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, it's clearly an older property with probably, the original windows and insulation and all those sorts of things, so.
Harry would say tired.
Yeah.
Tired, yes.
Needs modernisation.
Well, they.
I'm gonna let the paint will fix.
And I think that property is only 1 room deep, I think, from that difference.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it's more in keeping to knock it down and build something bigger with that street scene around there. But yeah, no, I don't have any objections. All in favour?
And the difference from one of the 2 of the others we've looked at is that the roof is it's a proper roof, you know, it's,
Yeah.
but it's still in governance.
They could have done something bigger and worse. And I think smallness is sometimes these things that they didn't. 5/20/23/0065, installation of the ventilation duct and flue to rear elevation at Peel House, 15 Vaughan Road.
Okay, this property, I'll just move on to the rear, to be honest. This property is a day nursery. The proposal is to install a ventilation duct and flue to the nursery school kitchen at first floor level. The flue and ducting pipe are proposed to be positioned to the rear of the property to the side of the main projection. The flue is positioned at 1 metre above the eaves level, and due to the type of usage of the property, will only be used during the daytime and the weekdays only. Property is locally listed in the conservation area. I've said no objection, subject to compliance with policy 85 of the district plan.
Are there any houses in that building? Residential in that building?
The flats to the
No,
left.
day nursery. Yeah.
The rear elevation plan will show you, it's just a small,
It's a little
Yeah.
tube, basically, yeah. I'll just show you, and actually, funny enough, I've highlighted it with my red circle for you to see.
Because you would, it's quite a prominent location, isn't it? Because you walk along there from the car park to the station or whatever. It's not seen by people.
and it's there.
It's hidden around.
It's around the corner.
Yeah, it's about.
Their offices next door, aren't they?
I don't
Some of them are
really.
flats now. Some of them are flats. Yeah, they were offices. I
Can I
think.
do that as well? So
The
that
re-
shows
reason-
where it is in terms of on the elevation as well. With
The reason why I asked about residential is I know there's a bunch of flats around there that you wouldn't think are necessarily flats.
Yeah.
The ones that offices.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
No, I assume they were.
I just
offices.
always ask. Makes things a lot easier. That's all.
And it's 85, what is it? 85.
85 is conservation area.
Alright, so it's more like design and so noise.
It covers a multitude of things, actually.
Or too much.
Yes, it's design and like noise. I'll just do it very quickly.
Yes, give us that. Give us some nice.
So yeah, it covers design, materials, height, features, relief,
We can read the whole thing out.
materials. Yeah,
Can we put a reservation on it? It's only allowable subject to it being used as a nursery.
I don't think, well, I mean, district can, I don't think we are in a position to be making that.
Or just to stop it ever becoming a pub or something like that and.
It's a very small flow.
I know that.
Around the corner.
Okay, forget it.
I think, to be honest, if it was to go from being a day nursery to being something like a restaurant, it would have to have a change of use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for a start,
Yeah.
because I think this will be a different class of use.
I'm also not sure we necessarily have that many objections to a change of use. It's the sort of place where uses change all the time, but that's for a future meeting of this committee if they do it.
I mean, it's been a nursery.
It's been a nursery for
Yeah, well,
years. Yeah.
It was, it seems to be a police station.
Fine, no, sorry, pre-planning consultation from, oh, yeah, sorry. All in favour? Sorry. Sorry, I had a moment then. It's because I was focused on trying to work out what I'm doing for the next one. Pre-planning consultations from Signal, I'm assuming that's how you say that. Infrastructure UK Limited, Luton Road, Harpenden, consider and comment on the consultation. Do you have a suggested comment, Heather, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's slightly, I suppose, in a sense, blind. I have taken the liberty of drawing to the site of said mast. And then I've got the drawings that are just here. They were included in the agenda pack, but we were having a few issues with the printer, with the orientation. We've sorted it now, hence why it's quite simple, but that's the result. So ultimately, it's the, just find the said drawing. It's a monopole, which is essentially 15 metres in height, with two supporting comms cabinets to the right-hand side. And my observations were kind of looking at it, really, it's a much improved location than some of the other ones that we've had in more recent times. The only people I believe that can be impacted from it would be the Bethesda home, which is what we can see on the screen there. But it's sort of one of these situations where technology moves forward and
Let's not get a good signal.
Mm.
so, yeah, it's entirely up to you to debate. And if this is obviously a pre-consultation, so this is just them seeking the viewpoints before they then actually formally submit a planning application. But there are different regulations that govern the telecommunication industry anyway, so.
I mean, you joke about getting a decent signal. Well, I live almost underneath one of these things, and my signal's terrible. So I wouldn't guarantee.
I mean, there's obviously, I don't get much 5G at all in Harpenden, so there's some public good, I suppose, in the sense people want 5G and therefore you have to have a mast.
Yeah.
I suppose if I was living right by it, I wouldn't be that keen on it, but presumably the locations are like there to serve Harpenden. If you took them away too much, they don't do what they're supposed to do, I guess. I don't know.
I think they're sort of positioned in areas where there's sort of least interruption to the, if that's the correct word to use. Obviously, the last one that we saw, okay, this is from a different organisation or different company, was at the bottom of the Nicky Line Bridge, which received huge amounts of public interest and objection, whereas this one I've seen nothing.
I think this last one we saw slightly further up, right? But yeah, we did.
That's what I said, it was at the Nicky
No,
Line
no,
Bridge.
there was also one up here, better outside.
Oh, right, that is an existing site that we had sort of upgrades and things to, because this is a new location, so.
Sorry, I was being pedantic.
That's okay.
It's the special procedure for mobile phone masts, and it's not a regular planning application, so I'm not sure there is a facility for rejecting it, but this is only asking for, well, it's a notification, I'm not even sure it's asking for comments, so I'm not sure.
It is.
It
It is, yeah.
My only concern would be the fact they've said it's been rated amber. I don't really know what that means.
No, I was going to say, nobody enlightened me.
No idea, but I don't have any objection in principle to it.
No. Go somewhere.
If they come forward with the full, I think they have to come forward with the full planning application.
Yeah, but whether or not we look at it in a true application sense. is-
I think if they come forward with a full planning, then we'd look at it. If it comes to us, we'd look at it. Otherwise, I think I'm quite happy to just
Note it.
note
Yeah,
it.
we was-
Let them know we look forward to seeing what they can.
Well, yeah,
The next day, you know, the sort of.
I mean, interestingly, the one that's at the bottom of the Nicky Line Bridge did receive such huge amount of opposition that they did withdraw it.
Well, yeah, because if they tried to put it on there, I think it would have. Other demonstration.
It was withdrawn,
Yes, they did, yeah, they moved away. I'm not sure if this might be the replacement for that. It was in December 2021.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, we objected on that one, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think half of Harpenden in the area did, to be honest.
Yeah, one of the very few times I've received genuinely dozens of emails from residents about something.
You didn't have to reply to the book.
I might-
Not all at once, but,
Analysis of committee recommendations against SADC. Can I, sorry, just as a separate point, can I ask why these were all grouped under item 7 on the agenda?
oh, no, I don't know why.
Analysis of committee recommendations against St Albans District Council decisions.
I'm not quite sure why then.
No,
There's
it's
been
fine.
some issue with the numbering.
I was confused as to
Why?
why, but I didn't.
Yeah,
think
no,
it was
they-
sufficient after all.
They'll be minuted under separate numbers.
Lovely. I mean, other than there being a few months in which the district council appears to have not really agreed with us particularly, it's not too bad. We seem to have got most of the appeals gone the way that we would have expected. 60% isn't particularly bad. Is our work.
there's a separate analysis which is circulated across the callings.
Yeah,
It's,
it's in the side column as well.
Okay,
yeah, so the call-ins, there's one little side column tells you the call-ins for that particular month and the,
yeah,
the
okay, fine, yeah.
outcomes.
I don't think we're making any comments on these, they're just for noting
Yeah.
and taking
It's
it away.
purely to, let the committee see.
Yeah,
Well, can I ask the officer whether, obviously spend some time on this, whether there's anything for us to learn from this?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, obviously, we've now moved into a new period of time, sort of halfway through this analysis period where we've had the new call-in process. So obviously the call-in processes or the applications that are called in are different, maybe fewer potentially. I would say from memory, there seems to be less of the discrepancy in the district officer refusing or allowing applications where we felt strongly in relation to trees and parking. There was in the last analysis, there was quite a trend of us feeling quite strongly about objecting to parking and the loss of trees. That seems to have moved away. And generally, sort of mass bulk effect on neighbours and things seems to be.
so I can't remember objecting to trees or parking.
Time, no.
Another time, would it make sense to divide this third column number where we've different, see, according to which way it is, in which we've been favourable and they've not allowed it, as opposed to we've recommended refusal or expressed concern, but they have allowed it.
What split the column
I think
again?
I think what Roger's arguing is we should have a percentage of applications which we recommend no objection on. And SADC agreed, a percentage in which we had some objection.
Particularly if we've had an objection, if it's parking or trees, I can understand that obviously frequently overrules it, but if it's something else and they've let it through,
Well, we've
Maybe
got that column.
yeah, it's the other one where we've agreed to, we've approved it, but it's been rejected by the officers. There's one or two on the question of balconies. You know, we're missing a point when it's been rejected by the officer in that case. There's quite one or two like that, I think.
But where we've said that we actually didn't mind it and that
Yeah.
they,
I think if you distinguish the two,
Where we are, someone or two.
there are few, it's
Yeah.
more a case of
Yes,
not
well,
being
it's-
strong
it
in
says-
that they're not.
It
they
says
don't-
HTC, no objection, SADC refused, height, position, etc., officer decision.
Yeah.
Um,
I think this is probably something to take away in terms of thinking about whether there's another way we can present.
I might need to seek much, more clearer clarification as to what you're requiring. Because I'll be completely honest, this is a very time-consuming task
is it?
to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, I don't mind if it's a case that at the point the analysis is taking place, that they can be carefully grouped as opposed to in a big list. But I'll be completely honest, I'm not sure that we've got the capacity to.
Understood.
well, in a sense, it's almost there because you say whether we've refused or not. So I don't think it's any extra work.
That's fine, if you can just outline exactly what you're wanting, and then when the time comes to do the next one, then I can just
Okay, I'm not.
present it.
I'm obviously not suggesting redoing what you've done. It's just going forward.
Yeah, or no, I won't redo
Would it be possible for you to send me this table in Word and I'll show you
Okay,
in
yeah,
red line whatever in mind.
yeah, I can do
I
that,
think there's two or three that stick out to me where we've been happy,
and they've
and
not.
it's not, and the officer had actually turned it down because of
Yeah.
mass or bulk or some reason.
Yeah.
That to me means we're almost missing something.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
that's rather than the other way, yeah, but if there's only two or three of them, I mean, these two or three could just be.
Yeah.
We'll never be perfectly aligned, but it's just, the question is, is there something to learn from the misalignment?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or which ones are there we can check back as to what we missed.
Right. I think let's take any further comments on this to email or etc. appealed the appeal 1 Browning Road dismissed, 34 Sun Lane was allowed. Item 9, preservation order tree works for noting, the list of weekly St Albans District Council decisions for noting, conservation area tree works and technical applications for noting. The next meeting of this committee will be held on Tuesday.
I've got a piece of paper in front of me. Must be a reason for it.
That's what you'd asked me to provide to you all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's not for discussing necessarily, it's just for you to take
It's
away.
updated.
Yeah, this is the update with the tiny word that was taken.
the,
Before the event for next week, I think they formally have AOD, but a couple of things have just come up. Can I mention them? They relate to the information I was working on. Which I think we all know about, the planning committee constituted it, and we've had 2 or 3 meetings. And it's a sort of 2-year project. One thing the work planning will be looking at is the boundary of the conservation area. Does anything need to be added? I suppose transverse, does anything need to come out, but that's probably less likely. And the other thing is the regime of local listing. St Albans only apply within the conservation area. Some of the local authorities apply it within and without. Because there may be a building of merit that's outside the conservation area that could benefit from the local listing. We're unlikely to get St Albans to change their policy, but what the Conservation Office of St Albans has very helpfully pointed out is that at the next revision of the Hoxton neighbourhood plan, we could, in effect, create our own town level local listing to cover buildings of merit outside the conservation area, which would end up with similar effect.
yeah,
When can we update our neighbourhood plan?
You probably know that it's schedule of updates.
There is, it's up, that's when Carl chooses to do it. I know we are due to review it, but I'm not quite sure when that piece of work will.
What was the date? Was it 2018?
It was 2018 was when it was adopted, yeah.
You might say 5 years on, we're getting close to when you might
Consider
have to update it. Limited resources.
particularly given, for example, some of the sites that are mentioned in it are going to be built
Yeah.
as sort of
Yeah.
sites. isn't it?
Yeah, panels.
But presumably, Heather, it would be not too difficult to update. It's not like starting again.
Yeah, no, I would have thought this would be a case of doing updates from the learnings that we found, and there's certainly areas within the neighbourhood plan that we could certainly expand, because I have to rely quite heavily on the district plan
Yes.
to make our points, whereas actually it'd be quite useful to be able to use it or to make our point from our own document.
Yes.
I mean, this is quite heavily focused in new builds as opposed to actually extensions and modifications. So I should be heavily involved with shaping whatever changes are to be considered.
Yes. And you might say logically we wait for the new local plan, but not quite sure.
We may be waiting some time.
I mean, particularly, that's a separate conversation, but particularly given the new local plan will be adopted and has to be re-adopted as a new local plan under the provisions of the Land and Regeneration Bill. So we're actually going to end up with 2 local plans in St Albans within the next 5 years or so.
Yeah, yes, maybe we don't wait for that. Okay, thank you.
The date of the next meeting of this committee will be Tuesday, the 21st of February, 7:30 PM in this chamber. The date of the next District Council Mega Planning Committee will be on the 3rd of February at 7 PM, which I believe is next Monday. And with that, I bring the meeting to a close. I make it 8 minutes past 9.
You said 3rd of February.
It says the 3rd on this.
It must be, maybe it's Monday the 13th.
That's the 3rd on my agenda.
Next. See you later. Good night.
Right.
See you. Well.